What's going on, guys? So if you're new here, my name is Felipe, and here on YouTube I make videos talking about gear, tutorials, and helping creators. So if you're into that kind of stuff, consider subscribing and tapping that notification bell button. But anyways, today what we're going to be talking about is getting some sweet shots with the new DJI Ronin S and a monopod. So let's get into it. So with the monopod, a monopod essentially is a elongated extension pole or a tripod that you can attach to the bottom of the DJI Ronin S. And on the DJI Ronin S, on the bottom there is a 1/4 or a 1/4 inch and a 3/8 inch tripod screw. And this works perfectly with my Mi Photo backpack or road trip tripod. And what I've done is just been able to extend the length or reach of the DJI Ronin S, and what you're able to do is create some pretty sweet and interesting shots. So one of the first ones like you should try out is the Jib Establishing Shot. So here on the screen there's going to be an example of what that is, but essentially what you're trying to do with that Jib Establishing Shot is get a wide view and then have a subject or something kind of come across the screen, and you're going to pan slowly down. And in order to accomplish this, you're going to have to enable and disable some specific settings in the DJI Ronin S app. I think those are you're gonna have to disable the smooth track for both the pan, roll, and tilt. So that is a sweet shot to get. The next shot that you can get with the DJI Ronin S and a monopod is the Jib and Walking Shot. So say for example you're having someone come out of a doorway or car or something. What you're going to want to do is jib down to get that establishing shot, and then focus on your subject and follow them as they're going across the screen. And on the screen you should be watching an example of that right now. And this is one of my favorite things to do. It kind of reminds me of that TV show New Girl, or some of kind of like a new person coming into a city and they're there for the first time, or you're kind of following somebody, and you can use this to depending on like the movement of your speed or the kind of like vision that you're going for, you can change that pretty easily. So another sweet and fun shot to get is what I'm calling the Inception Shot. There's not really a real term for it just yet, but it really reminds me of that movie Inception, when there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and it just changes the camera angle, and then people are kind of confused and trying to figure out like how to walk through that scene. So what I did with this scene is I had this the model, the subject, come through a hallway and then kind of like act like they're stumbling and not really sure what's going on. And so what I did in the settings is turned off, I believe it was the pan and the tilt, and then just left the roll motor on. And I had to control that with my phone, because when I was trying to use it, the joystick was moving the roll motor too after I put it in flashpoint mode. And I only wanted the pan, so that way the pan would go 360 degrees. And I'll put that in the description on how to like achieve that, because it was a little bit confusing, but it's really, once you understand how to do it, it's pretty straightforward. So that's a really fun way to get another kind of look or camera angle and overall feel to what you're creating. So this next one is it's a jib shot, but you're also incorporating kind of like a dolly thing. So in this shot I'm sitting in the back of a car having another car follow me, and I'm getting a shot of the car from the ground low, so it's really looking like really epic and dynamic and cool, and then going up into the sky, so that way it's kind of like this very cinematic Fast and Furious kind of thing, going from the ground up to the car and then above the car. And then you can incorporate different things like the car zooming past you, or having video of like the car person itself. But this is a really fun thing to do, because one, you couldn't do this with just the tripod and the handle. You have to have a monopod, so that way you can extend your reach, and make sure you don't get super close to the ground, because I got close to the ground a couple times and it got really nervous. But you're able to get that dolly effect by moving backwards or forwards, and then you're also able to get that jib shot of going up and down. So I mean, you could just do the dolly with the monopod, or you could kind of do both with the jib and dolly. And depending on what you're going for, like, you can kind of just play around with it and get creative and just go for it. So that's the jib and dolly. So this next and last shot is an interesting way to kind of get dynamic and add a little bit more like depth or layers onto your scene. What I had the subject, I was panning to the left and having the subject come out of a door, and then following them around the car, and then putting the camera into the car, such as they're kind of, the camera's following them and they're going in reverse and then going forward. But once they go forward, I take the camera out of the car and then just like watch them leave. And I could have done it to where I was only having the camera going with them, but I wanted to kind of create a little bit more dramatic effect and just have them drive off or spin off, you know. So those are the different ways to get, you know, sweet shots with the DJI Ronin S in a tripod or monopod. And as a bonus sweet shot, what you can do is also set it into lock mode, but have the camera panning down, so that way on your subject you are looking them from a point of view or a third person kind of thing, camera angle. So that's one thing that's another bonus tip that I would have done, but just didn't have the time to. But if that's, you know, these were some pretty sweet shots, and if this is something that you enjoyed, please hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and connect with me on Instagram at felipe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.